Hare Krishna dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today I am going to speak on the topic devotion service. So before starting, I will start with some Mangalacharan prayers. Om Atmyana Timirandasya Jnana Antansalakaya Chakshurunmitam Tashmo Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachadine Nirvisheshaya Sunyavadi Pashata Deshatadine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gauri Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, um, let's start with the meaning of the devotion service. So, the actual meaning of the devotion service is given in Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami. Sarvopadi Vimuktam Tatpavatina Nirmalam, Rishikesha Shevana Bhakti Ruchyate. So, devotion service means to engage all our senses completely in the service of Krishna. Completely, Karmana Manasa Vacha, with thought, word, and mind completely in the service of Krishna without any material motive is called as devotion service. So, the I gave a meaning of the devotion service here. I added in the slide. The devotion service means to prosecute the Krishna conscious activities that are favorable to the transcendental pleasure of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And any activities that are not favorable to the transcendental favor of the Lord cannot be accepted as the devotional service. So, in this context, Srila Krishna Kaviraj Das Goswami gave a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Balikama, Krishnendriya Priti Chadare Premanama. So, to a desire to please the senses of Krishna is called as prema, and the desire to gratify our own senses is called as kama. So the devotion service means to engage all our senses completely in the service of Krishna to make Krishna pleasure. So now, this is called as devotion service. So now let's understand what is meaning of devotion service and what is meaning of pure devotion service. So devotion service can be done by anyone, even a person who has some materialistic desires. They can also come to temple. They also listen to Bhagavatam. They also take prasadam. They also chant with us occasionally. So the difference between them and the devotees who engage in pure devotional service, pure bhajan, Anyabhilashita Sunyam Jnana Karma Jnanavatam Anukulyena Krishnanuseelanam Bhaktiruttama. So the difference between the materialistic person who engage in devotion service for the materialistic desires is far different from the devotees who engage in Krishna service to only to serve Krishna without any material desires. So the pure devotion service means Anyabhilashita Sunyam, without any materialistic desires. And without any karma kanda jnana kanda position or karma kanda jnana kanda knowledge or some karmic activity something like that. So a devotee should be without any material desires, and he or she should not engage in any karma kanda jnana kanda position. Shri Narottam Das Thakur sings that karma kanda jnana kanda say bisera banda. So this karma kanda jnana kanda person, so or drinking poison knowingly, is like drinking poison because they are neglecting the nectar and they're drinking the poison. So I hope everyone understood about devotional service. And now let's go under how one gets this devotional service. Um, so one gets this devotional service only by the mercy of the great personalities. Mahat Kripa Vinakone Karme Bhakti Naya. Without the mercy of the great personalities, one cannot get bhakti. So how one gets the seed of devotional service? Guru Krishna Prasade Bhaktivedanta Beach. One gets the seed of the devotion service. The seed. The seed is sowed in the heart of a sadhaka, of a devotee, by the mercy of a Guru and Krishna. Without the mercy of a Guru, the spiritual master, the great personalities, the seed of Bhakti Lada Beach, the seed of Bhakti cannot be sowed in the heart of a devotee. So I added here a verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, 1951. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planet system. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of reaper of devotional service. It's very, very rare to attain the devotional service. It's very, very rare to associate with great personalities. The sadhu sangha is very, very rare. According to our own samskaras, previous karmic activities, they get this associations. It's very, very rare. And even after getting this seed, this bija, this seed, one need to be very careful in avoiding the weeds. One need to grow the plant very carefully. It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that it should penetrates the Brahmajyoti and then it goes to the Golakundam and takes shelter of Radha Krishna's lotus feet. So for that, our bhakti should not be disturbed by any activities in this material world. So next we will be seeing um, after getting the seed, how one develops this devotion service. After getting the seed from the spiritual master, a devotee engages in the nine process of devotional service. The nine process, the Prahlad Maharaj says that Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasham, Shakyam, Atmanivedanam. Prahlad Maharaj says that hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering him, saving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful and worship and 16 types of paraphernalia, and becoming servant, becoming one of his best friend, and surrendering everything into him. Atmanivedanam. These are the nine process of devotional service in which a devotee, after initiation or after getting the seed, devotee engages in this nine process of devotional service, and he gradually grows the next stages that I'll be explaining the next slide, next upcoming slide. So in this way, a devotee engages in this Vaidhi Bhakti by practicing this nine process of devotional service. And after practicing this nine process of devotional service continuously, it goes to different stages. We will see that stages now. Um, the first stage is Shraddha. The Shraddha. First thing is Shraddha. And after Shraddha, one gets association of devotees. And after getting associated, one gets initiated. And after getting initiated, he performs this bhajana kriya, performs this devotion service. And the next he goes to the stage of Anantanivriti stage. Here he decreases all unwanted attachments, all the anarthas in the heart by his quality of bhajan. And next is goes to Nishta platform where he has steadiness. Like we are chanting 16 rounds, we are waking up very early in the morning. So we are steady in this platform. And then next, by continuously chanting, hearing, reading, and listening, doing service, preaching, one gets a taste in Krishna service, taste to chant Krishna's holy name more and more and more. And then after Ruchi, one gets Ashakti, attachment to Krishna. And after the stage of attachment, Ashakti, one goes to the stage of Bhav. This stage of Bhav is considered to be mm, the, the this first step for Raganuga Bhakti. The stage of Bhava is considered to be the first stage in the Raganuga Bhakti. In the Raganuga Bhakti means the devotees would have some automatic, spontaneous loving service to Krishna. So when they go to the stage of Ashakti and Bhava stage, they get natural, spontaneous love for Krishna. And after that, and the next they go to the stage of Prema stage where they get pure love for Krishna. So next, we see actually here, Sri Rupa Goswami mentioned that devotion services of three types. The first one is a devotion service in practice, that is sadhana bhakti that we practice, Vaidhi bhakti. And next is devotion service in ecstasy, and the next is devotion service in pure love of Godhead. Devotion service, when we come to this platform of devotion service in ecstasy, which is we get spontaneous love for Krishna automatically. When we get the spontaneous love for Krishna, automatically we get some spiritual greed, which is lobha, in which we are always interested to serve Krishna. Anyway, we don't want to waste any time anymore in this material world. We're always interested to serve Krishna in that stage, the ecstasy bhava stage. And then by growing gradually, one goes to the stage of pure love of Godhead. So next we're going to see about the six characteristics of pure devotional service. So now, just as far as now, we have seen the meaning of definition of devotional service and how one gets a devotional service and how one grows the seed of the devotional service and what are the stages sadhaka goes and after the Shakti and the Bhava stage, how one gets Raganuga Bhakti and then how one goes to the Prema stage. And then we saw this. And then next, we saw some different three types of bhakti, three types of devotional service. And now we are going to see some characteristics of devotional service. So the first stage, first characteristic of devotional service is called this. Pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material stress. So when one devotee is engaged in devotional service, a devotee comes to the platform that he is not this body, his spirit soul. He is not belong to this material platform. He is belong to the spiritual platform and automatically get relief from all the material distress. Because he is not belong to this material world, he is not this body, he is soul, he is eternal servant of Krishna. So why he need to worry for the material distress? So that's why this bhakti, devotion service is called as Klesha Shubhada. That means it just gives relief from all the material distress. And pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. It is mentioned Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 90:47. Yan nama amangalam sudamata gaditam. Wherever the Krishna's holy name is chanted, it destroys all the inauspiciousness in this place. And the third one is pure devotional service automatically puts one into transcendental pleasure. Yes, we saw right when we go the stages above when we go from Sadha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana, Kriyanat, Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, Prema, when we go to the stages above from the Bhakti platform, Bhakti, we get some transcendental pleasure. We get some transcendental pleasure when you go to the state of Bhava. It is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that when one goes to the state of Bhava, um, one's internal Swarupa, Siddha Deha will be revealed. And then through the Siddha Deva, one will serve Radha Krishna with pleasure. Even when he's present in this material platform, he can serve Krishna through his mind. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu states that. So in this way, one puts into transcendental pleasure. When one chants the Shuddha Nam, he gets some transcendental pleasure. In this way, a devotee who is chanting, one who is in the chanting Shuddha Nam, or one who is always engaged in devotional service of Krishna, he's never put into any trouble because he knows that he's not this body, he's not belong to this material world. So automatically, he he does not come under any materialistic problem. So one automatically puts into transcendental pleasure. As Krishna is above the three modes of material nature, the pure devotees, the Shuddha Bhaktas, are also above the three modes of material nature. So there is no question of materialistic pleasure or materialistic troubles. They are in transcendental pleasure, transcendental position. And the next is very important. Pure devotion service is rarely achieved. It's the pure devotion service is very rarely achieved. Why? Why it's very rarely achieved? Because only in the human form of life we can engage in devotional service. Only in the human form of life. Of course, Gajendra, we saw many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam, but generally to speak, the only humans, only in this Manushya Janma, one can ask who am I, what is my duty, where I am from, all these questions, and then you can engage in devotional service. The devotion is very rarely achieved. In Vishnu Purana, it is stated that Jarja Navalakshani Stavra Lakshavimshati, and there it is stated that Chatur Lakshani Manushya. One first comes to the water species, and then from water species it comes to the plant Stavara species, and then from then they get the insect, and then they come to the platform of birds, and then they come to the state of animals like beast, four quadruped legged animals, and then at last they get the human form of life. Even after getting this human form of life, there are two classes. One is civilized and uncivilized. In this 400,000 species of human form of life, there are two classes. One is civilized and uncivilized. Civilized are the person those who follow Varnashram Dharma, and uncivilized are the person those who live in forest and they don't have any knowledge about the devotional service. So those who are in the human form of life, the devotional service is rarely achieved. So one gets this human form of life after so many evolution of life cycle. So even after getting this human form of life, getting bhakti is not easy, right? After getting this human form of life, some becomes demigod worshippers, uh, some becomes impersonalist, some become atheist, and some becomes very rarely they achieve Krishna. Right? Bahujanam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Mam Prabhadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samhatma Sudurlabha. After getting this human form of life, even getting this Krishna Bhakti is very, very rare. And getting this pure devotion service is very, very rare. And the next is those who are in pure devotion service, they derive the concept of liberation. So I will explain the fifth concept in later slides. I have some detailed contents. So I will explain this slide, this concept of fifth thing in the different slide. The sixth one is pure devotion service is the only means to attract Krishna. So we know that Krishna cannot be attracted by anything without devotion service. If you're not detailing your activities with Krishna consciousness, with bhakti, then you cannot attract Krishna. Brahma says, Vedesu durlabam madurlabam matavittam. Krishna cannot be understood by the Vedic knowledge you have. Krishna cannot be understood by your uh, strength, your um, your tejas, nothing. Krishna can be understood only by bhakti. This is what Brahma says in Brahma Samhita. When Prahlad Maharaj says in Srimad Bhagavatam, मन्ने धन अभिजन रूप तप शुद्ध औजस तेज प्रभव बल पौरुष बुद्धियोग न आराधना ही भवन्ति परस्य पुंसो भक्त्या तुदोष भगवान गजयुतपाय. You may possess a wealth, you may have very good family, you may have very good beauty, you may have very good austerity, you have very good education, you maybe have very good physical strength, bala, luster, influence, everything. But Prahlad Maharaj says that it nothing, all these things will never satisfy Krishna or attract Krishna. The only thing that attract Krishna is bhakti. Prahlad Maharaj says in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 9th chapter, 9th verse. Only pure devotion service attracts Krishna. So the next, we will see this concept. I'm thought of explaining the fifth concept, so I will explain this concept here. So before going here, I need to share only one more verse. This for the fourth point. So this pure devotion service is rarely achieved, right? So this human form of life is also very rarely achieved. Labdva sudurabham idam bahu sambhavante manusham dharmartha. So this verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, which states that the pure devotion service is rarely achieved, and it is achieved only in the human form of life. But getting the human form of life is very rare because we need to come under one cycle of evolution from water species, insect, birds, animals, and then getting human form of life is a very big process. So getting this human form of life is very rare, first thing. And even after getting this human form of life, getting Krishna Bhakti is very, very, very rare. So now let's see this topic, the fifth one. So the devotion service gives liberation. Of course, those who engage in devotion service, they get liberation. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 14:26 that those who engage in devotion service, they transcend the modes of material nature. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. And then in the next 18th chapter, Krishna says that Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na shoshati na kamshati, sama sarvesa bhutesu, mad bhaktim labhyate param. That means once devotee transcends the modes of material nature, he comes to Krishna as bhakti. Mad bhaktim labhyate param. Krishna says this. Once the devotee transcends the modes of material nature, he becomes a devotee of Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 6:14:5, it states that one becomes a devotee of Narayana after liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:14:5 says that one becomes devotee after liberation. Only after mukti one gets the devotional service. Devotional service is about the liberation platform. So I mentioned two verses here. This Madhya 20 to 21 says that speculative knowledge alone without any devotion is not able to give liberation. On the other hand, even without having knowledge, one can get liberation if one engages in devotion. So learn, see the power of the devotion service. And Bhagavad Gita 2:51 says that by this engaging in devotion service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death, attain the state of beyond all miseries by going back to God. So from these two verses, we can understand the devotion service will give liberation for sure. And the next, will devotees aspire for liberation? Those who are impersonalist or those who are materialistic persons, they try to get liberated. But the devotees want liberation. So devotees want, they think, though they get liberated. The question is the devotee want to get liberated. So devotee is not interested. The Srimad Bhagavatam says that devotees are not interested in liberation. Even if they are interested in liberation, they don't want the impersonal liberation. They want the personal liberation. But generally, Srimad Bhagavatam says that devotees they never aspire for liberation. So I actually gave a verse here, Srimad Bhagavatam 9:467. My devotees who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service are not interested even in four principal liberations: Sharupya, and Samupya, and Shastri. Although these four automatically achieved by their service. So what? Even by they will get liberated by simply by devotional service. So now next we see one of the this is from Krishna Karnamrita by Bilva Mangala Thakur. Thus devotees aspire for liberation, the concept. Oh my Lord, if one engages in your pure devotion service with determination, you become visible in your original transcendental youthful form as a supreme personal body. As for liberation is concerned, stand before the devotee with folded hands waiting to send the service. So when those who are engaging in pure devotion service, the liberation, the Mukti Devi stands before the devotee with the folded hands and waiting to render service. So I complete my presentation here. So thank you for all the devotees. Um, Thank you so much.